And hello! So, back to it again. This time around, stupidest builds in League of Legends. Max size of Aatrox. Brought to you by me. With runes and items and such. Requested by this fellow that wanted to see the max size of Aatrox. Something I hadn't considered, and I didn't consider on brain, but hey, who cares about brains? And I don't care myself, so yeah, we're here now. How does size stack? It's all percentages, but it's still additive percentages, which is kind of unique for percentages, at least in League of Legends. So, as you see here, if the bananas and apples are two different bonuses of size, you add those two percentages together and then multiply them with the base size, because, you know, percentages. So, and we have to set some goals up from 70 all the way to 172. I feel like 70 is raw. We'll figure it out when we get there. So, what is champion size anyways? Like, what is it? I find out that needed an explanation. The actual size of the character model as you increase does kind of have to correspond to the box of selection. You know, for example, when you need to do a point and click ability, the bigger the model is, the more there is to click. So that it actually does increase with the size, for example. But what you probably more recognize as a significant element of size increase is hitboxes. So for anybody who doesn't know what hitboxes are, here's an example of like the quintessential space for hitbox manipulation and stuff. Fighting games. This is from Street Fighter 3 First Strike, or Street Fighter First Strike, I guess, where you see these blue boxes on the characters. Easy to see on the right is what part of the character, where the character is getting hit. Like if you want to hit one of these two characters here, you would need to attack in this blue area. As you can see, that's pretty different from their actual models. But then we have at the left, we can see there are also these red boxes. That is the attack hitbox. To hit and make something hit in a game, you need to have the projectile or the attack hitbox interact / overlap with the character hurt box, as we would call them, which is the blue ones. As you increase, this size actually also increases. Of course, this isn't how you calculate it in League of Legends. I believe they use radiuses, so they take the center point of your character model, and then out in a radius around them is where they get hit. So as you increase in size, this radius actually also increases, which might seem obvious, but that doesn't count for everything. As an example, pathing hitbox, like pathing, how when you click on somewhere on the map, how do your character figure out how to go there? This is actually not at all affected by character size, because if you are Cho'gath that is 1,000 meters tall now, it would be kind of an issue if you were not longer allowed to walk around in the jungle, or you get stuck randomly in the jungle using your ultimate on some creep. So that actually, for example, doesn't affect it whatsoever. So yeah, as I said, also the projectiles, the pathfinding, and then projectiles actually don't have hitboxes per se. Rather, because like with the projectiles, instead of having this radius, because it's just like getting shot across the map, we actually only need like a width of the ability. If as long as you have a direction, then if the width, can I say that word right? I hope that makes sense. Like the how how long it is to the sides. That is like how you calculate if that hits with a character radius, and that's how you we calculate in League of Legends if an attack hits. So that is, so in that way they don't really get affected by it. But as you go bigger, of course, it's gonna be easier to hit you with it with the same width of an ability. And yeah, have fighting I mentioned. So now this is our goals here at the right from 70 to 172. So just to get an idea of like what are these sizes, like, because all these numbers are totally arbitrary. It's can be really hard to wrap your head around. I think the usual size measurement, at least the one they used to use, was like a Teemo was 100 times 100 times 100 times 100 units in size. So everything would be measured in Teemos. That was like a thing. I don't know if that's a thing anymore, but yeah, that's just something to keep in mind. So yeah, here's all the yordles, for example, and this is the lowest size you can have in the game by default. This is all the yordles. You see the Annie, Briar. I'm really surprised about Warwick, but I guess he's crouching half the time, maybe? Most characters are in this 65 bracket. Okay, so yeah, 70 first goal makes sense. It's because the Aatrox falls into this category. I thought it was 70 for some reason. But yeah, this is not even all the characters. There's more up and below. I just couldn't screen grab all of them at the same time. So first goal would be Ivern. As you see, Aatrox and Kayle Seraphine here at the top of the 65 size. And Ivern is the only person in the game with 70 as a character size. So yeah, firstly, we kind of have, because we work with percentages, so we need to figure out how much of a percentage do we need to get from Aatrox's 65 to our goal size, in this case 70 of Ivern. And this is how we calculate percentages. We take the difference between the goal size and the base size, so that would be, in this case, be that would be the difference between goal, that is 70 of Ivern, minus our base size, that is Aatrox per 5, and then divided by the actual base size, 65 of Aatrox. As an example here, 250, how much percentage is that of 2,916? Then doing that division like this and multiplying it by 100, we find that it is 8.6% of 2,916. So going on to do that calculation, we now see that 5 divided by 65 gives us 0.077 times 100 for 7%, 7.69%, I guess. So how do we get around this? How do we get this much? How do we get 8%? 8% size. Sorry, it's kind of arbitrary because there's no units to it, so I get super confused. And that's why units are important. So if you ever made fun of your teacher for being like, apples or bananas, this is why. This is literally why. For League of Legends math. But yeah, I have tried to aim to get as close to the goal percentage for as cheaply as possible. So that's how I have chosen what options we are looking at, just so you know how my methodology works. So Heartsteel, an item that costs 3,000 gold that gives you 3% size per 1,000 HP. So with Aatrox's ultimate at 5% size increase. Oh yeah, this picture at the right is his ultimate picture. I should maybe have checked the name as well. Gives 5% at activation. So with Heartsteel and his ultimate, since at the start of the game you already have, at level 6 you already have 1000 HP, you will have our 8% for a merely 3,000 gold. But how do we determine? How did I determine what it's called? How much we have to work with? So what I did was I looked at the gold acquired at just 2 random games that I have played in ranked. One is Teemo, one is Cyan. As we see here on the left, gold acquired by champion. At 10 minutes, I had acquired the 3,000 gold. So at 9 minutes, I had below. So we're going with the 10 minutes since there's no decibels or anything of the like. And then I go to the experience over time and look at how much experience we had at that point. And in that way, I can now look at this cheat sheet over experience equal level. And we'll see that at 2,818 AXP, we'll be put in between 6 and 7. Thereby, can we conclude that we are level 6. And we have our available. We are available to have our ultimate. But that means we at level 6 we will have. Oh yeah, and it's at 6 to 7 because in the other game I had 3,000, I guess, at level 7. So that's like up and lower bounds. That's all. And therefore, we can now conclude that Heartsteel, you can be bigger than Ivern at level 6 by buying a Heartsteel and using your ultimate. And that's how we're gonna do this for every single champion. Second goal, big buddies. And that's again a fighting game term, don't worry about it. But this is like, you'll see the Bruisers, the Guardians, Vanguards, that's the category of support, Brom and stuff. I'm surprised Bard is here. I thought he was more of an enchanter support, I don't know, actually, I could be wrong. But yeah, you'll see, a lot of the bigger characters like Hecarim, Sejuani, makes sense. They are 80, so 10 bigger than Ivern, and now 15 bigger than us. So now we do the same calculation, 80 minus 65, blah 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 blah, and we get to 23%. So we need 23.1% to be as big as these guys. So what is the closest we could get from to that? I found that at least the cheapest way to go about it would be to say we buy the Heartsteel as before, and now we invest a further 500 gold to have. Wait, am I weird? No, that's correct. Sorry, I was crossing bias. And then yeah, for 500 more gold, you can buy an elixir of iron, which will put you above your 2000 HP threshold for 3% more in Heartsteel, which you don't need, but that's just how it ends up being. And still using our ultimate, we'll get above those 33% with 26% at 3500 gold, which I also at this is at level 9 to be fair. Oh yeah, this was like if you wanna keep going. Alternatively, if you don't want to use your ultimate for it, you can actually just have more than them for like, what is it, 3 minutes elixir of iron works, for 5,100 gold by having Heartsteel and then investing in Bambies, whatever the right most. Sorry, all these words are going from my mind. And the belt, Jan's belt, for enough HP to hit 3000 HP, thereby hitting 9% on your Heartsteel, and therefore getting us above 2400. Getting us to 24%. Why can't I speak? 24% size increase, making us bigger than all of the big body characters, from Nasus to Volibear to Yorick Thorn, whatever. Oh yeah, and of course the relevance part was just how much gold do we have at different levels. That's why we get it at level 9. Also mainly because this elixir of iron you can first buy at level 9. So I know nobody buys potions at level 9, but you should. I am saying it right now. You should be buying potions every time you get back to base. It's a worthwhile investment. I am not gonna do it myself, but I'm sure it works to some degree. Third goal. Lulu is bigger than Malphite apparently when she uses Wild Growth. And I found this really funny when I tried to find pictures of it. I found it really funny coming to the right, where Lulu may use her ultimate on different characters, and then Nunu at the bottom, where Nunu crushes Willem. I found that really funny. And the creator is Inkiness, but his DeviantArt account was out of order, or deleted or something. So I'm not sure if you can find him anymore, but Inkiness made this, and I find it really funny. So how do we get to 91%? Firstly, calculate the size difference. This is now we are up at 40%. So when Lulu uses her ultimate on herself, she gets a 40% more size. Oh, sorry, she's 40% bigger than Aatrox. How do we beat that? So I came up with, now we are buying Sterix Gauge as well. Sterix Gauge gives us, what's it called, 10% size as an item, bringing us a bit further. Then we again buy not only the belt, but now we actually buy the whole hand item. I don't know the name, you can see it, you'll find it in the shop somewhere. To get ourselves above this the health thresholds. Now we are at 4000 HP for another 3% from the heart steal to get us to 42%. Actually getting above this, again still using the elixir of iron as well as the ultimate to actually hit this. And the item, it kind of just makes, so instead of buying Barmy Cinders, that's what it was called, the red item before, you can build towards this item to hit this threshold. Let's go. Lulu's actually smaller than Malphite when you get him a lot of armor. So yeah, Volibear Zac at 100 health with a lot of bonus health, Volibear using his ultimate, and Malphite with a lot of armor, as 66% bigger than Aatrox. So now we are going into the really crazy territory. How do we get 66%? Yeah, what I have done here is I have filled out all our 6 items list, because the only 3 items in the game that give size is Heartsteel, Elixir of Iron, and Sterix Gauge. So the only way to get more size is by buying enough health that our Heartsteel gives us more more size. But as you'll notice here, even buying full on HP beyond just the two other items, so Sterix Gauge and Heartsteel, you actually see that we only get 48% for our 18.2 thousand gold, which you can get to at level 16. I can say there's a bit of an asterisk here, in that Heartsteel also gives you bonus health when you do auto attacks, but that became really convoluted to calculate and find averages for, so I'm just dismissing it. So do know you can get more HP, but I don't believe you should expect 1000 or even 2000. Anyways, you're never gonna get enough HP to get us above those 66%. So is the road over? We can still pull on a bit more gimmicky stuff. So how about Renata Glask using her ability Hostile Takeover? This gives the target 25% more size. This is though a really already questionable in that this is an enemy. So you need an enemy Renata Glask that use a hostile takeover on you, and then you also need to have your ultimate and the elixir of iron to then get beyond this point of 66%. But beyond it, so let's see what we can, if we can keep moving somehow. So the 5th goal, I don't know how to spell to 5th. I think this is right. I don't question me. And here we are at the point where Silas needs to hit feast, have maximum feast stacks, because your team should have a Cho'gath, which should be mid lane, I guess. So here we see that 100. We are now 100% bigger than ourselves. Silas is 100% bigger than Aatrox actually, with maximum feast stack. What can we do? We can have a Lulu on our team. Lulu's ultimate gives you 40% size. So that actually brings us to 113%. I've not deleted the reach at level 16 just for hard seal, because that's still the case for all of these scenarios. We are just at the maximum. So with Renata Glask using hostile takeover, as well as Lulu using wild growth on you, you can be bigger than Silas with maximum feast stacks. And what is as the 6th goal? Cho'gath himself with maximum feast stacks plus an elixir of iron. I've checked this directly from their wiki. I don't know why this is what they insisted on putting there, but we're gonna shoot for the stars here. Is there any way we can get beyond 164% bigger in League of Legends? And the answer is no. This is all the options for size in the game. When we are looking at runes, items, and abilities. But if I bring you back to the start, you'll notice that if you read this comment, he says, do max health size Aatrox, max HP plus Derex plus new size gain with Kale events. What is the... Kale doesn't have an ability that gives you a bigger size. So what is he referring to? I didn't know this was a thing, but what are events? They are basically, at least in this context, he's referring to in-game missions. As specific missions that some characters in the game can have can obtain through specific conditions reached during a game that will give you a specific mission. You've probably not heard about this before. You maybe have. I haven't. I was really dumbfounded when I found this. So I began digging, using the League of Legends wiki to read about it. This is the oldest thing they actually sourced themselves. And video from 2012, the 24th of September. This YouTube channel made a video about the unique Rengar and Kha'Zix rivalry mechanic, which is their in-game mission. The hunt is on, as you see here at the top. And here at the right, you can see the total right. This is the bottom of the comments. I went back through all 3,000 or so comments to find the first comments, and the internet hasn't changed much in the last 12 years, I've noticed. First, second, and of course a third that wasn't the third comment. So yeah, nothing new. And of course all the usual shenanigans with two comments right above and below one another. It works. Tried it last game. If you look in my match history, I have the item crab biscuits EUW. Oh, that's actually just now. Maybe I should have blurred that out. I didn't think about that. And the next comment. This is this is BS. I tried my with my friends. So yeah. Does it work or did not? People were really disagreeing in the comments. And this was actually really hilarious to look around. Like 3,000 plus comments from back then. Yeah, 24th of September back then. And yeah, a lot of the comments were how about this was fake. A lot of Dota fans were really annoyed with this, talking about how Dota is so much better and have amazing interaction. I found this hilarious, I really did. And then I also figured out that apparently the comment section worked really differently back in 2012. I didn't use YouTube back then, so I wouldn't know. Like I think I first began using YouTube in 2014 or something maybe. Because as you see here in the right, for example, the pictures above one another, this is because in a row, 3 of the comments were this one guy, then 2 of the comments afterwards were this other guy, which I don't believe ever would happen. You would never write 3 different comments, so I believe the comment section does work really differently. Further proof of this is what I have here in the middle, is all the messages that had English in them, which I looked up specifically because when I was reading through a lot of these I read through way too many of these 3,000 comments. and people were kind of arguing, but it was actually impossible to see who was talking to who, because it was kind of just mixed together. Like if you read these through, you'll see it seems like some of these guys are talking with one another, but that was not apparent in the comment section whatsoever. Like no answers, nothing like that. I think the comment section just was too different back then. If you used YouTube back in the day, I would love to know if you can explain this somehow in the comments. But where do we then go from there? The first thing, because this was again the oldest thing that anybody had quoted, at least on the Wikipedia. So I just went through the comments to get a better look, and then I found this one random comment mixed together with all the others. I left a comment in another video about this, but then later I saw this video, so never mind. What this, at least this, I might be interpreting this wrong, but when I read this, I got the impression that this person was referring to an older video that had already, that was an older video where he has already commented this. Basically, the 21st of September is not when this was actually discovered. So I went into digging some more, and doing some digging I just by Google searches, I found this 1 day older. Who is better? Cooler, stronger? Jack's Ranger and Kazakh's poll from the boards. I forgot the website name now. I should have checked. I just included in the photo. But here you will actually see in the post, the person is actually referring to this interaction, and like they are referring to this interaction throughout. Like I also hear Kazakh can get a 4th Evo point if he gets a pentakill. This 4th Evo point, as people will describe in some of the comments in this same thread, is not from pentakill, it's from getting the quest, winning the quest the hunt is on, because it gives rewards. But I'll describe that. That's why you can connect this to that event, even though it seems like people still were really oblivious about it. So I went back to the Wayback Machine and looked through the internet. And look what I found here! I found back like in October the 25th, people were talking about it. 2012, that is later, but there's just like what I could find on the Wayback Machine, trying different websites. And what I found is actually the oldest is the first official post by League of Legends on their official website back in the day, the 21st of September 2012. 3 days before that latest video that I showed you, and 2 days before the posts where people were referring to it. What I found here is that people were actually like, this was his. I didn't realize this was when Kha'Zix was released. Basically, 4 days before that video released, Kha'Zix was released on PBE, as I can show you here. Because if you look up, Kha'Zix was released the 27th of September. Kha'Zix was first released on a PBE, I assume. I believe, no, that was PB. It was the PB back then. So before this was, he was released, this was already a thing. And considering the fact that if you look on the October 25th on the Wayback Machine instead of the 21st, what we actually find is that they have added a part. They have now added a lore part about how he's interacting with Rengar, which leads me to think that this event thingy mission, like the champion, the in-game missions. Thank you. Sorry. Came as a connected release with Kha'Zix's release back in the 21st of September 2012. This took me way too long, so I had to like share this. But yeah, it's based on the lore between Rengar and Kha'Zix, with like being the two ultimate predators and kind of trying to be after one another. So the Hunters On is their quest of trying to determine who is the ultimate predator. If Rengar wins, he gets the head of Kha'Zix. I don't remember what it does right now, but you can look it up. And Kha'Zix's ability reward is he gets to evolve a 4th ability. Normally Kha'Zix only gets to evolve 3 of his abilities throughout a game. If he wins this quest, he gets the 4th evolution. So, what were we talking about again? Oh yeah, quest mission, lore and quest mission. So, why is this relevant for us? We were looking at Aatrox, and in the lore, in case you don't know, Aatrox is what we call Darkened, and he is as like he's trying to destroy the world. Kale and Morgana is like some kind of good people. I think, I don't know if they were like if they were ascended. I think they were ascended. I'm not certain. But anyways, they are fighting against Aatrox to defend the world from destruction. Okay, so as you see here right now, this is all the text about this one event between these 3 characters. Basically, Aatrox needs to kill Kale or Morgana 2 times. In total, he needs to kill them 2 times across the both of them to win. Meanwhile, Morgana and Kale together has to kill Aatrox 2 times to win theirs. So as you'll see, there is rewards and penalties for all 3 members in case they are in the game. To activate this quest, Aatrox and Kale needs to be level 11. Yeah, if they both are just 11, I think is the requirement. And if they both are alive at the same time, they'll get this request that is take the other down. Morgana is not mandatory for the quest. That is not anything with the lore. That is just for gameplay purposes, since she's a support. So saying, yeah, the Morgana support has to kill Aatrox 2 times. Aatrox has to kill her 2 times. Would be kind of unfair. So she's not mandatory. But if Kale and Aatrox is there, Morgana gets to play along in case she's also in the game. And Kale's side specifically, to be clear. So why is this relevant? Well, Aatrox rewards Sweet Oblivion. On Aatrox's path to bring about the end of all things, there is no one and nothing that can stand in his way. His ultimate ability, World Ender, now lasts 3 seconds longer. That does not busted. During which Aatrox becomes visually larger. And that's the point. He does get larger. And here's the issue. I have 0 clue where people get size information from. Like up in the right corner, that's all the stats it shows in game. There is no size stat, and I don't know how people find stats. And like I don't know where the wiki people get their stats from. The one person I tried to write to did answer his mail, so I don't know where to find this information, and it doesn't exist online. I have searched for way too long. I should have released this 2 days ago, but I wanted to find this to calculate further. So sorry, I couldn't find it. Like it's not here anywhere online. But we can still like say up in the right corner, I've just calculated it. If you minus the 172 of Cho'gath with 164, if it gives 8%, if it gives 8% or more, you can reach this. But I don't know how to check that, I don't know how to prove it, I don't know anything. I actually don't personally believe this. I would assume at most, since this is not supposed to be big changes, and making you bigger makes you kind of weaker to some degree, so don't think it's substantial. What I assume is at max, like the bare maximum possible is 5%. But that's my take, I don't know, I can't prove anything. So that's the maximum size for Aatrox. You're competing with, again, we were looking at people like Malphite, full stacks, Zac with ultimate, like with 1000 health and stuff. Like already here, when we're just still an items max health stuff, where we couldn't reach the first threshold where we couldn't reach it. I do want to emphasize, except for Volibear, everything here is like people kind of having kind of questionable realism of the buff actually being active. Volibear's the only exception to that, as well as Cho'gath with maximum feast stacks. Like below this one is him only with maximum feast stacks without the elixir of iron. I just wanted to shoot for the stars. So you can still get really big in the game, especially compared to all other champions, and nobody else should be building like you. So don't worry, you'll be a big boy. So one last thing I do want to end this video on. If this revelation about all this stuff, because I found this really fascinating about in-game emissions and stuff, do write to me, and my mail is on my account, or even comment section, because I had this, I want to do this. Like, if you found this interesting, I have made a team of two teams based on all of the interactions as listed here. Like, this is all the in-game missions you can activate, all the people that have to be together. I read them through, and I made two teams where every single person has the opportunity to get a quest. Aatrox with Kale, Rengar with Kha'Zix, Wei with Jin, Azul with Smolder, Senna and Fresh. I found this idea really funny. If you find this interesting and would like to join me for a game of this, do write to me. I would love to try this. Yeah, that's all I have. GG's, well played. That does make sense. Who cares? Bye.